She explained to me that she stayed in Chicago, went to college there, got married, have children and grandchildren, and that was the best tip she gave me. Young people in the audience, listen to older people, okay? Sometimes they can give you some good tips, which is what happened to me when I worked that day and I was going home and we were talking, and I always like to listen to people and hear what their ideas are. And when she said it, I told my mother, I said, "Mommy, I'm leaving here." So after the students encouraged me and told me that I'm very good with motivating people, I decided to become a counselor, and I went back to school for that reason. I really like to empower youth. This is one of my passions, to get young people really get interested into what they want to do, because guess what? You have a lot of hidden talents that you're not aware of, so you need sometimes somebody to pump it out of you a little bit, and that's Elaine Bryan, okay? I can pump that talent out of you. And so I like to work with the youth, you know, because they have so much good positive energy, and that's what I like. I had other possible career paths, I have to admit. I almost became Tyra Banks. But growing up in a house with my father, I had to think of something that the books, he was into the books, okay? So I said, you know, let me forget about this modeling career and stick with the books. And I have a little thing coming up that can prove it to you. There it is. They asked me once to do a makeover on the campus at Northwestern, and that's me there just for a few minutes. I decided to show you that I almost became a model. Okay, so back to reality. Even Tyra Banks went to Harvard to do a course. How many of you know that? Yeah, she signed up, so you see the books become important somewhere along the path. So living in Georgia, I moved to Georgia about 20 years ago. I've had great experiences in Georgia. The South has been good to me, and I'm glad I moved here. I was able to further my education in Georgia, which right now I'm doing a doctoral program. And I was encouraged by a lot of people to do my doctorate. People in the audience like Dr. Fangalo, who is an educator, and his wife. And I also have friends like Dr. Pottinger, who I worked with, you know, at the Family Charter High School for a long time. Many encouragement. This just doesn't happen overnight, young people and ladies and gentlemen in the audience. You have to really surround yourself with positive people who are willing and happy to see you thrive. That's very important. That's one of the most important lessons I could leave with you today. I also met Gregory in Georgia. And that was one of the most important things in Georgia, or the most important thing in Georgia. Pardon me. Serious note, ladies and gentlemen, I actually met Gregory through our mutual friends. And I actually met Gregory when I went to one of my friends' child's christening. So sometimes when you're there trying to help other people, guess what happens? You get help. You get help. See, you don't understand the secret to this life. Okay? I remember when I was always going around friends with children and babysitting, my friends said, "Elaine, what happened to you? You're not going to meet no man this way." and I said, "Oh, well, I just love to help, you know." So I would spend a lot of time with children, and I was on my way to christening. I had no intention of meeting anybody. And at the christening, my husband Gregory and Peter Lawson are best friends from JC days. He went to a school in Jamaica, high school, Jamaica College, and both of them were classmates. And you know, just by going there and, you know, I said, "Who is that guy? You know, who is that guy?" And by the way, I was also taking a break from studying, because I always am studying, and I took a break to go to this event. And Emory University had a little christening in the chapel at Emory, and my husband was there. And you know, he's quiet, so I would never see him out on the road. And he likes, he likes his own company. He's not the type to be out all about. So I met him at the home of Peter and Tanya Lawson. And so sometimes when you're helping other people, that's why I'm telling you this story. Don't only think of yourself. If you think of others, sometimes something good happens to you. And that's what that story is about. I also was sitting at home one day. Gregory's big in IT, and so he watches every email and this and that more than I do. And one day we got an email from the producers of Home and Garden TV. And we thought it was just a joke, one of these things. And I said, how would they know me? How did they know I'm in the real estate business? Because you have millions of realtors all around. But that was a stroke of luck. They met me on the internet. They had a little profile of me. They came to our home, met us, filmed me many times. I was on the series for 3 years. Now they're on hold, but they plan to resume the series. So that was a big break I got in Georgia when Gregory and I were both picked up by Home and Garden TV. So I just wanted to share that with you. So sometimes the good Lord blesses you in many ways, and this was certainly a blessing. And Mr. Alan Simpson knows what I'm talking about from Trinidad and Tobago, because he's also in the business. So he knows that these kind of things help us. And could you rise, Mr. Simpson, so they can see you? He's in Trinidad and Tobago. He's also in the real estate business. So obviously I got married here, and I decided to share that moment with you. Wow. It was a wonderful time to get married to Gregory. And I mentioned him a lot because without him I couldn't be standing here, and I'm being honest. I started my own business too, Elaine Bryan Realty, after working in the business for 5 years. And when you become a broker, you can do your own thing. So that's when I decided Gregory and I started the business together. And my attorney was Bernie Lane. She set it up for me, set up the whole legal part of it. So while I'm working with the young people every day, I'm very enthusiastic about my job. I love working with the students. I love to see them shine. I love to see everybody shine. When people do well, I feel very happy. And so I feel that way about the people I work with every day at work. And I'm here to all my students, and they're always in my office, and it's lots of fun working with them. The next significant thing that happened to me since I've been in Georgia is I was recruited by Leadership Georgia. The reason I'm mentioning this to you is because a lot of the Caribbean people are not aware of the Leadership Georgia program, because you have to be invited in to join. They rarely invite outsiders, which is who I am, meaning I'm from another country. Okay, and it's natural. If I were in my own country, where I was born, I would also invite people in my country. So this is just the way it is where we are now. We respect that way. The reason I'm mentioning this to you, I was observed for 4 years by one of the judges in Georgia. And one day he just came to me and said, do you know anything about Leadership Georgia? And I said, no. I didn't have anything. None of my friends is a member of Leadership. I never met anyone in Leadership Georgia. And none of the educators in my building was ever recruited. So he took me to a reception, and that's where I met everybody, including the judge today, who was involved in that important case in Dunwoody. Everybody who is anyone in terms of a leader I met that day. And after that happened to me, young people, everything opened up for me. Because when I go to the meetings with Leadership Sandy Springs, that is where I'm able to meet a lot of people. They're very helpful to me. We collaborate a lot. The reason I'm telling you this story, because if you continue to work hard, wish others well, because you are planting a seed. When you wish other people well, the Supreme Creator knows. You can't fool him. You can fake smile and carry on with me and everybody else, but when it comes down to the Creator, he knows your heart. So keep doing what is right. Those of you, all you members of the Caribbean Association, the young people are trying to bring the community together. You keep doing what you're doing. Somebody's noticed. I have noticed today, and many other people will notice your good, dedicated, hard work. Yes. And that happened to me, and that is why I'm sharing this with you. I never spoke to the judge more than, "Hi, how are you, sir? How are you doing today?" And then I continued, but he was looking at me and I didn't know. So he invited me in leadership, the cab. I could do it where I live or where I work. I decided to do it where I live. I live in the Sandy Springs area, so that's where I did my leadership training. It took a whole year, but it's one of the best things that I've ever done in Georgia. And it has been very helpful. So now I'm an alumni council member of the Leadership Sandy Spring. That's where I get a lot of support, and that's why I want to salute that program. I love to salute people who support me, because I cannot stand alone. It's not possible.